is hit this 3 times.
Y'all see what I gotta deal with, right?
Hit the gas for him a couple times. What's up to my fam bam? Hey y'all, so I'm about to do a brake job, brake pads, rotors, and everything on a 2015 Mercedes CLA 250. So just wanted to document this because y'all know I'm always sharing my little mechanical little stuff, so I want to show y'all something. So when you jacking this car up, as you can see, I already got it jacked up on this side. Okay, just it's not even off the ground, but I got the weight on it. So, man, for sure. So I like to use 2 jacks because it's easier when you can just pick up the whole car. When you're jacking up a Mercedes, it's a little bit different than a lot of cars. So let me show y'all something right quick. I'm gonna turn this camera a little bit. But the Mercedes is a little bit different, in which it has little mount points. See if I can get y'all under here. Okay, so this little thing right here, it's a little pad. Get this out the way. Hopefully you can see this, but there's this little pad right here. You stick your plate, you stick your little plate right here, right under this little pad right here. And this is where you lift the car. And there's 2 in the back on each, there's 1 in the back on each side also. So I'm doing both sides. So get the jack under there. If you jack a Mercedes up somewhere other than that lift point, you can damage something underneath. So you got to be real mindful. There you go. Now I can lift it. And I'm gonna go from one side to the other because I don't want to lift either side too high. Until I get both of the front tires off the ground. Okay, come over here. Okay, car is off the ground on this side. Go back over here. All right. So now the car is up on the jacks, and now I can start getting to work. So. Okay, first thing you want to do is ensure that you have all the parts. You don't want to get halfway through a job and have to go to the store. So, best way to figure that out, get everything opened. Okay, so after examining the parts, got the front brake pads here, got the rear brake pads here. There is a sensor here. The rotors are in here. I almost didn't open this box because I seen Kaiser on it and I just assumed it was something different until I tried to pick it up and seen how heavy it was. But one thing about all Mercedes, pretty much, is they have wheel locks. So I had to go in there and go under where the spare tire was at for this little kit here. And in here are extra wheel studs and a key. And this is the key. So as you can see, this is something that's not normal. But if you can see this stud here, it is different from the rest. Okay, so there's a wheel lock here, and this key will get this wheel lock off. So thank God that was in there. So this is a 17 millimeter that makes your job a lot easier when you got the air tool. So once you get that one lock off of there, there's no need for this key until you go to the other side. So take the wheel. Always remember, when you're putting your wheels down and getting them out the way, never set them on the surface of the pretty side, okay? If you got to set them on the surface on the pretty side, make sure you get a pad or something to put them on. But other than that, just lay them down, no damage, everything will be fine. When you are doing a rotor change, it is really easy, especially on a Mercedes. On this side, you have the sensor. This is the pad wear sensor right here. You can see this little wire right here, and it's got a little sensor in it, and you just pull it out and it just comes right out of the pad. You gotta sometimes give it a little tug, but that's all it is. That's it. So get that out of there. And then there's a little to hold the rotor in place. This little screw right here is just a little screw that holds the rotor in place. So you have to get that off also. So I'm gonna go grab my Torx bits and I'll get that off of there too. Yep, that's the right size. All of this stuff can be done with regular hand tools. It's not a big deal. You don't need power tools all the time. And be sure not to lose this screw or throw it away until you know either you got a replacement for it with the new rotors or not, because you will need that to put that back. Now to take these bolts back here off, we got to get the calipers off. Let's see. See what size they are. They look like a 13, but they could be. Yep, 13. That is what it is. So let's get that off of there. There's two of those. And just in case you don't see what I'm talking about, it's the caliper bolts. One here, and there's one down at the bottom right here. So you gotta take both of those off. what you'll get sometimes is, if you can see this moving, I need that to stop moving. So that whole thing is moving, so I need to put a wrench on that to make it stop moving. So no big deal. Be right back. This is the part that takes the longest. Get on too loud. You can use vice grips for this. I don't really recommend vice grips, only because vice grips sometimes can get in there, and if you squeeze too hard, you can damage stuff. So I'd rather just put a regular wrench on it. This is something that don't take a lot of this off. There's a little short screw, nothing major. Get this one at the bottom. Ooh, chilly out here this morning. If I wasn't filming this job, it would take me probably about an hour and a half to do all four. And this is me doing it from the ground. If I lift like a shop, it doesn't even take that long. This is not a real intricate job, so as you can see. That's the second screw. From here, the caliper can actually come off the bracket. So that's how easy it is to get the caliper off the bracket. I'm gonna sit that up there for a second. And then there's two more bolts to get. One here, one here. Looks like they might be the same size. Let's see. No, it's a little bit bigger. So let's try the next size up. That's it. So you got a 13 and a 14. So I'm gonna do to keep the caliper from falling. I'll go grab something to sit on. Never want to let this caliper hang from its holes. So I'm gonna have something to sit on, or hang it from. Let's see. Oh, you got enough, another little. You know what? Let's see. I can just probably get away with this. Sitting up here, that should be fine. Okay. Never let this hang from the holes. You can rupture the hole, it'll cause a leak. The last thing you want is a leak in your brake holes. Now let's see if I can get one done back there. Let me go grab my smaller gun. There we go. Bigger bolt. That's for bracket. As you can see, that bracket comes off really easy. Two bolts. Second bolt. Bracket is free. And so is the rotor. That's how easy it is. So now what you do, let's see if you guys can see this. Get this, get you down here. So you can see the brake pads and the bracket. So you just take them out and stick them back in and put it back up there and reverse the procedure. So let me show you the difference. So to show you the difference, look at the thickness and pad. Can y'all see that? So this one is about twice as thick. Okay. So all you want to do, stick it back the same way you got it out. Okay. So that one is back in there. Now this other one is the one of concern because look how thin it is. This one is almost non-existent. Comparison. So you see how thin that is? So this brake pad was pretty much gone. So and this is the reason why you always want to put change your rotors right along with the brake pads. It's always better to do it that way. Stick that down in there. There's a little slot that you stick these little pins in, and then you just squeeze them and push it down in there so it'll sit down in the bracket. Okay, so that's that. So the bracket is back on there. So now I got to go get the rotors. All right, be right back. Okay, so I got the rotors out. These are the old ones. It's the old one, and this the new one. So the reason for the holes and the slots is because these will cool faster, which gives you a lot better positive braking. These holes act as vents, and the slots will clean your brake pads when you apply the brakes. So these are constantly scraping on the brake pad as they're going around, and they're clearing debris. So much better rotor than the standard solid rotor. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Slotted and drilled. Much better rotor, way better results. Okay, so now we reverse the procedure. Let me clean this up a little bit. Get my little trusty wire brush, just to knock off some of this little rust and little debris that builds up over time. You don't have to go crazy, but since you got it off, you might as well clean it up a little bit. Right. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a little anti-seize here. Little anti-seize right here, and this is something you can get at any local auto parts store, and you don't have to go crazy with this stuff. This is just to make sure that the rotor don't get stuck on the hub, because on my wife's car it did, and I had to kick it and, you know, jar it loose to get it off of there. So a little anti-seize never hurt. You don't have to go crazy with it. That's it. Okay. And then you got the little hole for that little screw. You line this up. Line that up. Get the little screw back in there. Once you got that in there, the rotor split. Come down now. That's all this screw is for. Just keep the rotor in place. This is not something that has to be tightened down a whole lot. Because it just keeps the rotor in place, but the lug nuts are actually going to keep this rotor where it's supposed to be. And then let me get this bracket back on there. So just like it came off, put it right back on. All we do is these pads are far enough apart. Got enough space to get them over the new rotor, because the rotor's going to be bigger than the old rotor. So just make sure there's enough space to slide this in place, like that. And put the big bolt back. This is not difficult at all. Not even very complicated, to be honest. Okay. So all you do, we're good. That's it. And because these don't have to be put down, super tight. Get this off. Hopefully I'm not blocking out view. Break it apart. Just make sure it's nice and snug. Alright. Over in there good. One more thing I gotta go get is my C-pipe. Gotta press that piston back in. So in order to depress the piston, you can use one of the old brake pads. Stick it up against the piston like this. So this piston needs to be flush. It needs to go all the way in so it can make room for the new thicker pads. And the way you get those pushed in, see, use one of the old brake pads like that, and then put the seat clamp on it. And we're just gonna push it back in. So the clamp is gonna press until it's flat. And as you can see, it's sitting flush now. You don't see it sticking out anymore. Okay, so pretty simple, no big deal. And now we put the caliper back. Okay. Okay, make sure nothing is tangled back here, everything is straight. And then at this point, we can replace the brake sensor, which is this. Make sure it's exactly what I need. This one is actually broken. So this, see how this is broken? The little stem is broke. So that needed to go. Open up the new sensor. All you want to do, there's a little hole in the brake pad. And all you do is just put the hole in there. Slide this right into the hole. Snap it in just like that. And then plug this in. It's as simple as that. So now that is in, that's the new brake sensor. And then you put your 2 screws back. So, when you change rotors, hands dirty and dirt on everything, what you want to do is you want to get some brake cleaner, okay, and you want to clean both sides of the rotor with a clean cloth or towel, shop towel. So you just spray it on there. Be generous. And just wipe them off. That just makes sure that there's no grease or residue on your brakes when you put them back together. You don't want no oil getting on your pads or dirt or anything like that. So I actually already did the backside. So just wanted to show you that. So you basically would do this on both sides. And you can do it before you put it on. Just be sure not to get anything on it. But it's already done. So that concludes a rotor and pad change on the front. All I gotta do is do the other side, which is the same procedure as this one. So I'll see y'all when I get to the back. All right, so as you can see, I got the driver's side done now. Of course, same procedure as the other side, but you can see those slotted and drilled up in there. Brand new brake pads.